ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। Hari Om. Very blissful morning to all of you. Welcome to this beautiful, gorgeous, auspicious, holiest of the holy temples which is within our own selves. My loving pranams at the divine lotus feet of my Guru, Papa Swami Ramdas of Anandashram, Kanjangad, Kerala, and my beloved parents. The composer of this Tattvabodha is Bhagavatpada Adi Shankaracharya. We will offer our salutations to him and then chant the Shanti Mantra of Taittiriya Upanishad and start today's session. Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Initially, the Guru says that the one who is qualified to learn this Tattvabodha or any of these Upanishads is called as Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna. Sadhana Chatushtaya means the 4 Ds. In English we call it as the 4 Ds. Discrimination, dispassion, discipline and desire for liberation. One who has got all these qualities is qualified to learn this Tattvabodha. Then he says that he is qualified to learn Tattva Viveka. The student asks, all of us must remember that this is a dialogue between Guru and the students, the group of students. So the student asks, what is that Tattva Viveka? Then he says that only Atma is Satya, rest everything is Anatma or Mithya. Not that it is not existing, but it is not continuously existing. So he calls this as Mithya. Then what is Atma? So he starts with not this, not this, not this. That is, he says that it is beyond, bhinna. Bhinna means beyond this or something separate from Shariratraya. The 3 types of bodies and then 5 koshas, pancha koshas. And then he says that it is a witness to the 3 kinds of avasthas, the different kinds of states. And that Atma is Satchidananda Swarupaha, he says. So he lists that 3 bodies, 3 avasthas and then 5 koshas, that is the layers. So 3 plus 3 plus 5, 6 plus 5 is 11. Now the student asks each one of them, what is this? Shariratriya, what is Shariratriya? What do you mean by the 3 bodies? So he says Sthula Sharira or the gross body, Sukshma Sharira or the subtle body and Karana Sharira or the causal body. It is not this, it is beyond this, bhinna. Bhinna means separate from this. So he explains what is Sthula Sharira. Whether it is Sthula or Sukshma or Karana Sharira, all these is matter, which means it consists of the Pancha Bhutas. It is made up of Pancha Bhutas only. The gross body which is visible, we call this as matter. Whereas the Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body, we can call it as some kind of energy. Like we know water is visible. The energy which is there in the water is not visible to us. Similarly, Sthula Sharira is gross body which is visible, like matter, and Sukshma Sharira or subtle body is like energy, invisible. Sthula is visible, Sukshma is invisible. Then what about Karana Sharira? Karana Sharira is the cause of these two bodies. It is in the seed form, which is in the avyakta potential form. It is not visible at all. Sukshma itself is not visible. So cause of that definitely will not be visible. But Sthula and Sukshma both consist of Panchabhutas. So 100% guarantee that Karana Sharira also consists of Panchabhutas in the subtlest manner. How do we know? Because we know Sthula and Sukshma. We cannot see Sukshma Sharira, but all of us can experience our Sukshma Sharira. So he says, Sukshma Sharira consists of 17 elements. 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Pranas or Prana Vayus, and then Manas and Buddhi, mind and intellect. So he says that 17 elements are there. Then he goes to explain each and every sense organs or Jnanendriyas. Then organs of action, Karmendriya. All the 5 Karmendriyas he explains in detail that we have already seen. Then Pancha Pranas. In this particular Tattvabodha Grantha, scripture, Adi Shankaracharya has not given explanation about the Pancha Vayus. But it is given in so many other different scriptures. So we have taken it from the other scripture. The Panchavayus, we have already learnt about this. I am repeating this so that everybody remembers or recalls, because it has to be stored here properly. Pranavayu, Apana, Udana, Vyana, Samana. These are the 5 different kinds of Vayus. We must remember here, we take only one Vayu from the external world. From the atmosphere, we are only breathing in one Vayu. That gets divided inside our body into these 5 different Vayus. Are we inhaling different 5 Vayus? Different air is not being breathed by us. Only one air. One air gets divided in our body into 5 different kinds of Vayu. And each Vayu has got particular job. It works in a particular field only. Pranavayu works in the respiratory system. Apanavayu, excretory system. Udanavayu works as packers and movers, as well as a security system. Packers and movers, when we exit this body, when the Sukshma Sharira gets separated from Sthula Sharira, then Udanavayu takes the responsibility of separating the Sukshma Sharira from Sthula Sharira. It packs, like how we call some packers and movers when we get transferred or we have to move from one house to another house. When we shift houses, then we call some people, they come and pack all our luggage and then take it in a truck and dump it in the next house. In the same way, it is a duty of this Udanavayu to pack everything. What all it has to pack? Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, all this in subtle manner. Not the Golakas, but in the subtle fashion. That is the energy. It has to pack everything and then pull it out of the Sthula Sharira and then carry it. So that is the duty of Udanavayu. So we can remember it as packers and movers and security system. Whenever anything external body enters our body, then sneezing, vomiting, all these are security system. It is taken care of by the Udanavayu. Then Vyana is for circulatory system and Samana is for digestive system. So this is about the Pancha Vayu. Pancha Karmendriya, Pancha Pranendriya, Pancha Jnanendriya, Pancha Karmendriya and Pancha Pranavayu. Then Manas and Buddhi, we know about them. So he says it is none of these. It is beyond this. Then Karana Sharira also he explained that it is avidya, ajnana, nirvikalpaka rupam, anirvachya, etc. etc. He explained. Even though it cannot be explained, Shankaracharya takes all the pains to give us, make us understand, so that we come closer to it. He says that it is the cause of Sthula and Sukshma Sharira. Causal body or Karana Sharira is the cause of Sthula and Sukshma Sharira. So this is about Shariratraya. Then he talked about the three different kinds of states of every one of us. Jagrat Avastha, when we are awake. Swapna Avastha, dream state. And the third one is deep sleep state called Sushupti Avastha. When we are awake, our Jnanendriyas are working, Karmendriyas are working, or the gross body is completely working. Mind is working, Buddhi is working, all these are working. Sthula Sharira is working, Sukshma Sharira is working, obviously Karana Sharira is existing there. That is why he calls this Vishwa, Vishwarupa Jagarani. When we are awake, that Atma we are called as Vishwa, Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkaro. Everything is included is called as Purna or Vishwa. So all the three bodies are working, Vishwa. Then in the dream state, when we sleep, the mind has two options. Either it can open up the bag of vasanas which has stored for so many births, or keep it closed and sleep nicely, go into the deep sleep state. So two options are given to the mind. First option is, there is a big bag. What have we stored in the bag? All the impressions, not only of this birth, but from previous so many births. See the capacity of us or our mind. Tremendous capacity. It can store audio, video, it can store about the touch, smell. All these can be stored in this memory. Not only of this birth, from the previous so many births, everything is stored here. So now it gets a chance. The moment we go to sleep, external world is shut off. We have shut the external world, or external world is not existing now for the person who is sleeping. So the mind now opens up the inside theater, or we call it as a home theater. Within this body there is a beautiful theater now. The gross body is not working, gross body is sleeping. But the mind has opened up the bag of the vasanas or samskaras and starts watching that movie. When we shut our eyes, it is totally dark. But still, in the dream, we see light. Where is this light coming from? It should have been dark. But this is our experience. We see, I am going there, I am going here. Isn't it? Don't we see dreams like this? Variety of dreams. In the dream, it is so bright. Daytime, night, everything happens in the dream. For a dreamer, dream is not a dream. When we are dreaming, we feel it is really happening. Only when we wake up, it was only a dream. But while dreaming, it is reality. We feel it is reality. So, in the dream, what is happening? Whatever we have stored when we are awake, now we experience that. So, this particular Atma, which is dreaming, is called as Tejasa. Tejas means that internal light, Antarjyoti. It is there in every one of us. That is the light with the help of which we are able to see our dreams. And the last one is Sushupti Avastha. In the Jagrata Avastha, it is Sthula Sharira Abhimani because Sthula Sharira is working. In the dream state, Swapna Avastha, Sthula Sharira is not doing anything. Sthula Sharira is sleeping. But the Sukshma Sharira, especially the mind, is working there. We are watching movie there. So it is called as Sukshma Sharira Abhimani Taijasa iti Uchyate. And the last one is Sushupti Avastha, deep sleep state. When we are in deep sleep state, we don't know anything. After getting up, we say that I did not know anything, which means it is ajnana. Not knowing anything is ajnana. But then we have a jnana about ajnana. I don't know this. I don't know Malayalam. That means I have ajnana about Malayalam, but I have jnana about my not having knowledge. Isn't it? So ajnana is there. About ajnana, there is jnana. So here, one is happiness, another is ajnana. Happiness, how? Aren't we happy? When we go into this deep sleep state, aren't we happy? So he says that it is happiness, sukha. You say that I was enjoying myself when I was fast deep sleep state, when I was in deep sleep state. So we have completed about the 3 shariras and the 3 avasthas. Now the pancha koshas are left. So he has to ask, the student has to ask, what are they? So let us see what the student asks and what the teacher answers. Pancha koshaha ke. What are the pancha koshas? Annamayaha, pranamayaha, manomayaha, vijnanamayaha, anandamaya kosha cha iti. We call this as either layers or sheaths. Sheath, S-H-E-A-T-H. Sheath. How many sheaths are there? 5 sheaths are there. Same body, from one perspective, it is divided into 3 kinds of bodies: gross body, subtle body, causal body. From another perspective, it is divided into 5 different layers. So this is about that kind of division now, or from that perspective. Annamayaha, pranamayaha, manomayaha, vijnanamayaha, anandamaya kosha cha iti. So obviously, one has to ask now, what is the first one? Annamayaha. So the student asks, Annamayaha kaha. What is Annamaya kosha? Annarasenaiva bhutva, Annarasenaiva vriddhim prapya, Annarupa prithivyam yad viliyate, tad Annamaya koshaha, Annamayaha koshaha sthula shariram. 5 layers are given. The first layer is Annamaya. Anna. Anna means food. So this body is Sthula Sharira, also known by this name as Annamaya Kosha. Whatever we have studied about Sthula Sharira or gross body, now that is described as Annamaya Kosha. Why we call this as Annamaya Kosha? Let us see. Food. He says it is made up of only food. Body is made up of, the gross body is made up of food. Now, food comes from earth, Mother Earth. We call this earth as Mother Earth, Adarth. Mother Earth or Bhudevi, Bhumitai, we call this. Why? We call a lady who gives us birth as mother because she carries us in her womb for 9 months. Then she feeds her milk. Then she feeds us variety of food which nourish our body. She is the one who teaches us everything. So we call her as mother, or we call her as a goddess. Similarly, this earth provides us food which is needed for all of us. For all living beings, food is needed. Who provides food? It is Mother Earth. That is why we address her as Mother. Otherwise, we can simply say Earth, Prithvi. We call her as Mother because she is the one who gives us all nourishment. How does she give us all this nourishment? It is in this earth that all this plant kingdom exists. Through these plants, we get our food. Annad bhavanti bhutani. Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita. From Anna only, every bhuta, here bhuta means every living being, comes into existence. Now once again we get a doubt. How are we existing with the help of, because of this food? How did we come into existence into this in this world? Through our father and mother. Father ate variety of food. Mother ate variety of food. And the food that we consume gets digested in the body and it gets divided into vitamin, protein, fat, iron, etc., etc. And in a male body, that food gets transformed into what we call as a sperm or virya. In the female body, the same food gets transformed into egg. Now, when these two get united, sperm and egg get united, it forms a fetus. We call this action as Garbha Danam. It is a very, very sacred dana or sacred activity. This is the greatness of our Sanatana Dharma. Every activity is taken as, considered as sacred. Nothing is not sacred here according to our Sanatana Dharma. Such wonderful descriptions are given in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Now the fetus is formed in the womb of the mother. Remember that sperm and egg have come because of the food consumed by our parents. Now the fetus is formed in the womb of the mother. And now that fetus is fed this annarasa. How? With the help of the umbilical cord of the mother. For 9 months the fetus or the baby grows inside the womb of the mother by taking annarasa. That is why it says annarasenaiva bhutva. Formed because of annarasa. Just now we saw fetus is formed because of annarasa. That is the essence of the food from father and mother. Then annarasenaiva vriddhim prapya. The same annarasa. Now whatever the mother has taken, the same annarasa is taken by the fetus and that fetus becomes baby and baby grows inside the womb of the mother. After 9 months, there is a vayu called prasotika vayu. This starts kicking the fetus or the baby from the womb of the mother to the outside world. What we call as dilation. We say that the dilation had not yet started or the pains not started. When do we get this pain? When that prasotika vayu is becoming active. It pushes the baby out into the world. Once the baby comes into the world, the baby starts drinking mother's milk for a couple of days. Then later or months, maybe for months, then starts eating variety of food. Again it is vriddhim prapya, it grows. The baby grows. How? Because of annarasa, because of the food. So anna is a srishti karana, sthiti karana. Now understand that the food which gave us nourishment, the same food becomes cause for all the diseases of this body. Annaraseneva bhutva. We have come into existence because of annarasa. Annarasenaiva vriddhim prapya. We have grown because of the same Annarasa. Now, Annarupa Prithivyam Yadviliyate. With the same Anna, so many diseases are there in the body now. So what happens? Body has to be destroyed. The gross body has to be destroyed. We came from this world, from this earth, one fine day. And one fine day, we have to go back to the same earth. Either we are burnt or buried or whatever it is. We go back to the same Panchabhutas from which we came into existence. So he says, Annarupa Prithivyam. Prithvi is called as Annarupa because that is the one which has provided us all this Anna. Yad Viliyate, which goes back to the same Prithvi, is Tad Annamaya Koshaha Sthula Shariram. So the Annamaya Kosha or the outermost layer is nothing but this Sthula Sharira which is visible to us. The same Sthula Sharira is given another name as Annamaya Kosha when we divide in this fashion. Next one is the second one, let us see. Pranamayaha Kaha. Pranadhyaha Panchavayavaha Vagadindriya Panchakam Pranamayaha Koshaha. Pranadhyaha Panchavayavaha. Prana, Adi, etc. How many are there? 5 Vayu are there. Prana, Apana, Vyana, Samana, Udana. 5 Vayu plus Vak Indriya. What is Vak Indriya? Vak Indriya is Karmendriya. Now, we have seen that the Sthula Sharira or the gross body is represented by Annamaya Kosha. Now, the inner 3 koshas are there called as Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya. These 3 layers put together Sukshma Sharira. Outermost Sthula Sharira. Inner 3 layers put together Sukshma Sharira. Innermost layer called Anandamaya Kosha is same as Karana Sharira. So it is, division is the same but from a different perspective in the form of layers. That's all the difference is. So in Pranamaya Kosha, which is the outermost layer of Sukshma Sharira, I hope you are able to understand. 5 koshas are there, 5 layers are there. Like how we open onions. One by one we open the layers. Same way, 5 layers are there in everybody's body. Outermost is what is visible to us, which is called as Annamaya Kosha, which is Sthula Sharira, which has come into existence because of food, which has grown because of food, which will go back to the Prithvi or earth once again because of food only, is known by the name Annamaya, which is called as Sthula Sharira. Now we are stepping into the next level. Now the Pranamaya Kosha, 5 pranas plus 5 karmendriyas put together becomes Pranamaya Kosha. We know the pranas. Just now also we have seen the 5 pranas we have seen. Along with that, 5 karmendriyas. They work together. So this layer connects the Sukshma Sharira to the Sthula Sharira. Outermost layer of Sukshma Sharira is Pranamaya Kosha. That connects the Sukshma Sharira to the Sthula Sharira or to the gross body. Now here, Karmendriyas have to work. Now when the hands are, I am lifting my hands and doing all the actions, we think that it is automatically happening. No, it cannot happen automatically. There is a lot of procedure or process going on within. So these Panchavayus support the Karmendriyas. And the Prana as we have seen just now, only one vayu that we have taken, that gets divided within the body, and it flows through 72,000 nadis. You know, there are many nadis, 72,000 nadis are there. Out of them, important nadis are three: Ida, Pingala, Sushumna Nadi. Anyway, we will not go into the discussion about those nadis now. But this prana flows through the nadis. Nadis are all crisscrossed. Like this, so many are there, all are crisscrossed. Now this prana flows through the nadis. Whenever there is a block in the flow is not happening properly because there is some block. Then we are giving invitation to varieties of diseases. If it is flowing properly, there is no problem, we are healthy. When it does not flow properly, then we become sick. That is why lot of importance is given to pranayama. When we do pranayama, these all, the prana through the nadis flows properly. And there is something called pranic healing. There are people who are called as pranic healers. There is a particular procedure for that. They understand where exactly the block is happening and then they remove that block. There is acupressure, which removes this kind of blocks from the different nadis by pressing different points. So these are the different systems which take care of, there are many more like this, which take care of the flow of the nadis. See, the flow of the prana through the nadis takes place because of these panchavayus. When this flow is happening properly, our karmendriyas are working properly. Otherwise, we will not be able to lift our hand, we will not be able to speak. None of these karmendriyas can work when the pancha pranas are not working properly. In fact, even if one vayu among the pancha pranas, even if one vayu stops working completely, we are dead. We cannot continue to exist if any one of the pancha pranas stop working completely. That is the end of us. End of this body. Now this represents Kriya Shakti. We know Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. So this particular Pranamaya Kosha represents Kriya Shakti or physiological personality of an individual. I forgot to mention that Annamaya Kosha is anatomical personality. Ask any of the medical students, anatomy. What is the subject that you had today? Anatomy class. What is that anatomy? The external Annamaya Kosha. The study of that is called as anatomy, or we call this as anatomical personality. Now here, this Kosha, what we are studying just now, is Pranamaya Kosha, physiological personality of an individual. Now we move on to the next one. Manomayaha kaha. What is Manomaya Kosha? Manascha Jnanendriya Panchaka Militva Yo Bhavati Saha Manomayaha Koshaha. Mana, manas, mind. Along with mind, Jnanendriya Panchakam, 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 sense organs. Militva, combined together. Call this as Manomaya Koshaha, or psychological personality of an individual. Manas plus Jnanendriyas. 5 Jnanendriyas are there. Now if you understand, when this Manas is not working, even if I say something, nothing stays here, nothing gets registered, we say. Many a times we are going somewhere and somebody calls my name. I am hearing it, but nothing is getting registered. Why? Mind is not active. So these Jnanendriyas have to be supported by mind. Otherwise, we cannot receive from the world. With the help of the Jnanendriyas, we understand the world. With the help of this manas, we have all our emotions. When we are sleeping, the contact between the mind and the external world is not existing. Understand that mind does not have any direct contact with the world. It has contact with the world only through the Jnanendriyas. That is why while sleeping, when the Jnanendriyas are not working, mind does not have any contact with the external world. That is why it opens up the internal world. So all emotions exist because of this mind. When we get up from the sleep, immediately we start thinking, what should I cook today? What did that person say yesterday about me? All this start only when we get up. That is, the Jnanendriyas start working. Look here, oh, this is there, that is there. Along with that, the mind. Language, whatever somebody speaks, that is understandable only when the ears are working. That particular Jnanendriya is working, then the mind gets in contact with the external world. So all our emotions are there, created in the mind. What are the emotions? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, Prema. All these are there in the mind. Kama, desire, asa. Isn't it? Generally people say that one should not have any desire at all. If your mind is desireless, then you get liberation. Impossible. We cannot have that kind of level at all. If we don't have desires, how can we have a desire for moksha? What is mumukshutva? Sadhana chatushtaya. The last one is desire for moksha. Desire is 100% a blessing. One should have desire. If we did not have a desire, we wouldn't be learning this Tattvabodha. Because of the desire, I want to learn Tattvabodha, that we are learning. Isn't that a desire? So it is not that desire should not be there. Sanatana Dharma gives very high importance to desire. But refinement of desire is necessary. What kind of desire I had when I was a kid? Is it the same today? No, it has changed. Similarly, before entering the spiritual field, what was my desire? Now, after knowing a little bit of Tattvabodha, what is my desire now? Isn't it getting refined? Definitely, it will be refined if you have that strong desire. I want to learn this. I want to do the manana. I want to do the nitidhyasana of this. Then that is the highest level of desires. So slowly we are moving towards liberation. We cannot jump into liberation once for all. Little by little we have to take small steps. So desire is definitely a blessing from God. That is why we say Ichcha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Swarupini in Lalita Sahasranama. We worship her. Ichcha Shakti is being worshipped. So how can we say we should not have desires? That is why Upanishad or Sanatana Dharma gives highest level of importance to refinement of desires. Keep on refining. Parishuddhikarana or samskarana of all our desires. Kama should be there. Now, this is Ichcha Shakti. This represents, Manomaya Kosha represents Ichcha Shakti. Pranamaya Kosha represented Kriya Shakti. Now, Manomaya Kosha represents Ichcha Shakti. So, obviously, there must be one more. That is obviously Jnana Shakti. Let us see what it is. Vijnanamayaha kaha. Buddhir jnanendriya panchakam militva yo bhavati saha vijnanamayaha koshaha. Jnanendriya Panchaka is same, which is there in Manomaya Kosha also. There it was Manassu plus Jnanendriya. Here it is Buddhi plus Jnanendriya. So Vijnanamaya Kosha and Manomaya Kosha have Jnanendriyas as common. Manomaya Kosha has Manas, Vijnanamaya Kosha has got intellect or Buddhi. So Buddhi plus Jnanendriya equals Vijnanamaya Kosha. Manas plus Jnanendriya equals Manomaya Kosha. 5 pranas, 5 plus 5 karmendriyas equals Pranamaya Kosha. Now here it is, obviously it is representing Jnana Shakti. This is the intellect or Buddhi which makes the difference in human beings and animals. Don't they have Buddhi, animals? They also have Buddhi. But that is governed by instinct desires. What we call as sahaja, natural desires. What desires animals generally have? First one is about their own security, how to protect themselves. That is why whether it is a snake or a lion, it starts biting, thinking that we are trying to create some danger or create some harm to it. Only out of self-protection, most of the animals bite us. The way of protecting themselves. So one is self-protection. Second one is obviously hunger, food, for food. This is the second one. And the third one is procreation. That's all. The different types of desires which we call as instinctive desires in animals. Self-protection, food for hunger, and the last one is procreation. No other desires. Are we like this? Our buddhi is refined. We have variety of desires. If I participate in a competition, then I should get first place. Only if I am going to get first prize, then I will participate. If I feel that I am weak in this, then I will not participate because I know that I will not get a prize. That means it is planned desire. Learning Tattvabodha, planned desire. No animals have planned desire. Take a dog for a dog show. It's a competition, dog show, you know. Assume that my dog has not got any prize. I will have a desire. Next year, I will train my dog in such a fashion that my dog should get first place. Does the dog have similar desire? I will train. I will do all the sadhanas needed to get a first place. Does the dog get such kind of desire? It is only governed by instinctive desires. We human beings are not like that. If at all we also have only instinctive desires, then we are no better than any animals. So this buddhi makes all the difference between the human beings and the animals. Now, this jnana is very important. Kriya Shakti we saw just now, Ichha Shakti saw, now it is Jnana Shakti. When we see something, when we get to know about something, we are gaining knowledge. Just to give an example, while watching a serial on TV, there was an advertisement about some smartphone. So, the phone that I have is not a smartphone. Then I saw that all the different features of a smartphone. I got to know about the existence of this kind of smartphone when I saw the advertisement. Next, what happens? There is a desire here. I should possess this kind of phone. Even I should buy this kind of phone, isn't it? So it is natural for us to have such kind of desires. That is why we have so many advertisements. If it is half an hour serial, 20 minutes go in advertisements. Newspaper, 3/4 is filled with advertisements. Why? Because with the help of advertisement, they are giving knowledge about their product to all of us. And they know that all of us are weak. The moment we see that, then we get the desire, I should possess this. So what happens? Jnana Shakti first, then Ichha Shakti. Then what do we do? Either search through Google or go to the particular shop and ask for this particular kind of smartphone with this feature I want to buy. Then we buy that. Assume that it is not such a small desire, but the desire for me now is about a big house. I attended a Graha Pravesha of my friend. So I simply loved that design of that house. I got to know about this kind of facilities in the house. Now what happens? Ichha Shakti. Even I should construct a new house. How much time does it take to get to desire? Fraction of a second, desires are built up here. How much time does it take to construct a house? First of all, I should have property should be there, or money at least. If it is not a property, okay, flat. Money should be there. Crores and crores are needed now. Can I earn crores in 1 month or 1 year? Then what do? I take a bank loan and pay that EMI every month. Not a small amount, big amount. I have to work to earn that much money. So just to build one house, the desire I got in a fraction of a second, but to fulfill that desire, I have to struggle throughout my life. How many years of EMIs I have to pay? How much of tension is there? Isn't it? So fulfillment of desires is not easy. And the number of desires that we get in our mind is almost limitless. How many of them get fulfilled? Very few. Very few of them. Then how do we manage this? We must bring this kind of buddhi there, prioritize. What should be given the highest priority? What need not be given? Lot of priority. That is where this intellect comes into picture. So collect the information with the help of Jnanendriyas and use our buddhi. Otherwise, manas, mind takes us everywhere. No, use the buddhi in the right direction. So here, this is Jnana Shakti. Whether it is Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, all are blessings by God. And we treat that itself as God. Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti Swarupini. One of the namas is this of Goddess Lalita. Lalita Sahasranama, we are chanting this. So that we should realize that, yes, Ichha Shakti is a blessing for me. I must have desire. But what kind of desire should be there in me? Why am I getting this kind of desire? Why not I refine my desire? So this kind of manana should be done. This kind of nididhyasana should be done by all of us if we want to move further in this path of spirituality. Now only one more is left. Last one, Anandamayaha Kaha. What is Anandamaya Kosha? Evameva Karana Sharira Bhuta Avidyastha Malina Sattvam Priyadivritti Sahitam Stat Anandamayaha Koshaha Etat Kosha Panchakam. Let us see what he says. Evameva Karana Sharira Bhuta Avidyastha Malina Sattvam. Now, we have seen in Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the 3 gunas, the 3 qualities which is there in every being, whether it is an ordinary matter or it could be a human being or animal or plant. In anything, in any inert object, there are 3 gunas, Sattva, Raja, Tama. These are the 3 gunas. In each one of us or in each inert object also it is existing in a different proportion. Now here he says, he does not give description about Sattva, Raja, Guna, Tamo Guna now, but at the end of Tattvabodha, he describes them too. Since we know what they are, we will simply take it as Sattva means Jnana, for Jnana. Rajoguna means activity. If one person is active, that means Rajoguna is high. What about Tamoguna? Tamoguna is inertia or laziness or sleeping. And we feel that Tamoguna is not necessary at all. If Tamoguna is not there in us, we will not sleep at all. Only when Tamoguna is there, we will sleep. Don't we need sleep? We need sleep for the body, physical body, as well as the mind. Otherwise, 2 nights if we don't sleep, what happens? 3rd day we will become mad. We will be simply saying, I did not sleep at all for so many hours. We struggle when we don't get sleep. I don't mind taking any sleeping pills also, because I want to sleep. Because in sleep only the body and mind get rest, which means Tamoguna. So when Tamoguna is high, we sleep or high level of inertia. When we are sleeping, are we doing any activity? Our karmendriyas are not doing anything, which means Rajoguna is 0. What about Sattva? Sattva is knowing, Jnana. While sleeping, do we have any Jnana? Karana Sharira, Sushupti Avastha, we said Ajnana. So this also is Ajnana. But when we get up from deep sleep, we say that I slept well. I did not know anything. I did not have the knowledge of anything. That knowledge is there. So we call this as Malina Sattva. Sattva, little bit of knowledge is there. That I did not know anything. So that knowledge itself is called as Malina Sattva. Why only Sattva? Rajoguna is not there. We are not doing any activity. Rajoguna means activity. So since we are not doing any activity, Rajoguna is 0. Malina Sattva. Malina means Tamo Guna. Sattva Guna filled with Tamo Guna is there now. That he explains here as Evameva Karana Sharira Bhuta Avidyastha Malina Sattvam. Like how we have seen Karana Sharira. We have seen Sushupti Avastha similar to Karana Sharira. What is there? It is only happiness, Sukha. Isn't it? Sushupti Avastha we have seen. I am so happy because I slept just for 5 minutes also, it's okay. So what exactly is happening then? We are dipping ourselves in this Anandamaya Kosha. While in deep sleep, we definitely feel happy. Is there anybody who is not feeling happy when the person sleeps so well or goes into the deep sleep state and still not deriving happiness? Definitely not. Everybody feels happy when we are in that deep sleep state. That is why it is called as Anandamaya Kosha. That is, innermost Kosha is Anandamaya Kosha. Whenever we are happy, we are simply touching that Anandamaya Kosha or dipping in that Anandamaya Kosha. Then he says, Priyadi Vritti Sahitam Sat Anandamaya Koshaha. Priya Adi Vritti. Shankaracharya does not give anything more about Priya Adi, Priya etc. What is this etc.? That is given in, I think, that Taittiriya Upanishad. Priya, Moda, Pramoda. Different levels of happiness. Different levels of happiness we ourselves experience. To give an example, what the difference between Priya, Moda and Pramoda. Assume that I have seen my friend wearing a beautiful sari, and then that moment I thought even I should buy this kind of sari. Now today I went for shopping, saree shopping, and there I find the same saree over there. Then how happy I am? That happiness is called as Priya. Darshana Sukham. By looking at something you derive happiness, we call this as Priya. And next, I pay that money and buy that sari. That sari is my sari now. It becomes mine. Grahana Sukham. This is Moda. Looking at that is Priya, and possessing it is Moda. Next one is, highest level is Pramoda. When I wear that sari, Bhoga Sukham is given the name as Pramoda. How happy I feel when I wear that sari which I really wanted to buy. I have bought it now. That has become mine. So first one is Darshana Sukham is Priya. Grahana Sukham, I am able to hold it and it becomes mine. We call this as Grahana Sukha, that is Moda. And the last one is Pramoda. When I wear it, what kind of joy is there? And if somebody says, Jyoti, your sari is very beautiful, that's all. I am the happiest. Bhoga Sukham. This is given the name as Pramoda. Different levels of happiness. So he says that this level of happiness, different level of happiness exists in Anandamaya Kosha. Now, the happiness exists even when we are awake. 3 states: awake, dream and deep sleep. When we are awake, don't we feel happy? Many times we feel happy. Most of the times we feel unhappy. Isn't it? Sukha and Dukkha. Sukha for some time, then Dukkha. One person got lottery, 1 crore. So he was so happy that he got 1 crore rupee just by 1 rupee lottery. He was so happy that he got heart attack and died. Sukha turned into Dukkha. Not for him. He doesn't have Dukkha about his death. Somebody else now. So there is no guarantee that we will be happy always when we are awake. What about dream? Some dreams are very good. We are very happy in some dreams. Some of the dreams, rather most of the dreams, it's like we call it as a nightmare. We get up suddenly. So definitely there is no guarantee that we are going to be happy in dream state. But 100% guarantee that we are going to be happy when we are in deep sleep state. Because totally we are dipping ourselves in this Anandamaya Kosha. That state is the Samadhi state. That is why they say that ecstasy cannot explain or describe that kind of happiness. That is there in Samadhi. Because that is only consisting or dipping ourselves in this particular Kosha. So these are the Etat Kosha Panchakam. I hope it is clear. 5 koshas are there, 5 layers or 5 sheets. Outermost is Annamaya Kosha, which represents our Sthula Sharira or gross body. Then inner 3 layers, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya. These 3 put together, it is Sukshma Sharira. Out of that, Pranamaya is Kriya Shakti, Manomaya, Ichha Shakti, Vijnanamaya, Jnana Shakti. They represent these Shaktis, different kinds of Shaktis. And the innermost is Anandamaya Kosha, which represents our Karana Sharira. So these are the different 5 layers. Now, he has already said that it is Atma is beyond the 3 Shariras, beyond the 3 Panchakoshas, and Sakshi or witness to the 3 Avasthas, and it is called Satchidananda Swarupa. So in the next class, we are going to learn about that Atma. Till now, what we learnt is Mithya or Anatma. In the next class onwards, we will study about what Atma is. So we are going step by step in this particular Grantha called Tattvabodha, wonderfully described by Adi Shankaracharya. See the desire of Adi Shankaracharya. If at all he did not get this desire of writing, composing Tattvabodha, we wouldn't be learning this today. Isn't it a blessing? So it says that, even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Loka sangrahamevapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. Loka sangraha. For the sake of the society, for the sake of people, Loka kalyana. For the sake of all the others, let me have some desires to serve the world. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. We may not be able to do anything much for the sake of others, but definitely all of us can chant Nama. Nama Smarana can be done by all of us, not for our own selves, but for Loka Kalyana. What a great service it is. We are not even aware of the value of it. We can pray for anybody in this world. That is why Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. It says that once we cross certain limit, then we are not selfish. We want to live for the sake of others. That is what Krishna said, Loka sangrahamevapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. If you cross certain level, Arjuna, then you will not live for yourself. You will live for the sake of the others. That is the given name as Loka Sangraha. Not that Sangraha means collecting from Loka, you collect everything for yourself. No, that is not the meaning. You live for the sake of others. So why not we chant Namasmarana for Loka Kalyana? Shall we chant? Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu.